Welcome to the deep dive. So if you're joining us today, you are the learner, and we have a really fascinating mission for you today.
We do. It's a pretty critical topic if you're anywhere near the business world right now.
Yeah, exactly. We're unpacking a stack of sources today, primarily this book, Demystifying Smart Contracts, What Every Business Owner Should Know. It's by Reverend Dr. Antonio Arnold. Plus, we're looking at some really striking visual materials that came with it.
Right. And the goal here is to give you a genuine shortcut. We want you to understand, what smart contracts actually are, whether your business genuinely needs them, and most importantly, how to actually implement them without falling into some incredibly costly traps.
Yeah, those traps are no joke.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack this. We're cutting through the tech jargon today.
Absolutely, because we really need to look past the buzzwords and answer the core question, which is, why does this actually matter for your daily business operations?
Right. And to start, we should probably define what a smart contract actually is. I mean, simply put, it's a self-executing agreement, right?
Yeah, exactly. The terms of the agreement are written directly into lines of code, and that code runs on a decentralized blockchain.
Like Ethereum, for example.
Right, Ethereum is the most common one. The author, Dr. Arnold, uses this classic analogy in the book. He says it's like a vending machine.
Oh, yeah, the vending machine. So you put your money or your data in.
And it automatically dispenses the product.
Right.
There's no middleman, no cashier, no intermediary.
Which is wildly different from a traditional contract. I mean, traditional contracts are just bogged down by, lawyers, notaries, endless paperwork.
Not to mention human error. And just incredibly slow bureaucratic processes, whereas smart contracts are instantaneous, they're cost-effective, and they are immutable.
Immutable meaning they're totally tamper-proof. But I actually want to push back on that vending machine analogy a bit.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Well, I mean, if it's just an automated transaction, why do we need this massive, complex blockchain? Like, my bank already automates my bill payments every month.
That is a completely fair point, and it's a really common misconception.
Right, because my accounting software sends invoices on its own. So why is this different?
Well, it comes down to two things, decentralization and immutability. When your bank automates a payment, they still completely control that system.
Oh, I see. They own the server.
Exactly. They own the server. They can pause the payment. They can reverse it or, freeze your entire account if they want to.
Right, because there's a central authority.
Yes. But with a smart contract on a blockchain, there is no central authority. No single bank controls it. Once you make the deal and the code runs, nobody can step in and alter it. It's locked in across thousands of computers globally.
Wow. Okay, so nobody can change the rules halfway through the game.
Precisely. And this is where I think Dr. Arnold's background becomes incredibly relevant to how he views this tech.
Oh, definitely. His background is fascinating. Because he isn't just some tech guy sitting in a Silicon Valley basement.
Not at all. I mean, yes, he's a Cornell grad with 20 years in digital marketing, but he is also a pastor.
Yeah, and a military veteran. The sources mention he actually served during Hurricane Katrina.
Right. And he's a former law enforcement officer, so you combine all of that, and you get this very holistic view of blockchain.
Yeah, he's not just looking at the efficiency of the code.
Exactly. He's looking at ethics, trust, and consumer safety. If you were deployed during Katrina, you know firsthand what happens when centralized physical infrastructure entirely collapses.
The power goes out, the central servers flood, and the whole local system just dies.
But a decentralized blockchain doesn't care if a server farm in one city floods. The contract still executes because the network is global.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And from the law enforcement side, he's probably seen how easily centralized ledgers get cooked.
Oh, absolutely. Fraud is basically just retroactively altering a centralized spreadsheet.
Right. But you can't do that with an immutable smart contract.
Right.
Which leads us perfectly into how this actually works in the real world.
Yes, let's talk about the real-world application, especially in supply chains.
In the visual materials we have, there's this image titled Trust. It shows these hands interacting with a glowing, decentralized digital network.
It's a great visual representation of what we're talking about. It's this new web of verified trust, totally free of middlemen.
So, practically speaking, how does that automate a supply chain?
Well, it relies heavily on IoT sensors, Internet of Things sensors linked to the smart contract. So imagine a shipping container moving across the country.
Okay, got it.
The contract is coded to say, when this specific shipment reaches checkpoint B, release the payment.
So the sensor pings the network when it arrives.
Exactly. The sensor verifies the arrival, the contract automatically sees that the condition is met, and it releases the payment instantly, usually in a stable coin like Tether or USDT.
Instantly. No waiting 30 days for accounts payable to process an invoice.
Zero waiting. The book gives some great examples of major players doing this, like Walmart.
Oh, right, the Walmart example. They use it for tracking product origins, right, to boost consumer confidence.
Yes. And Home Depot is using it to reduce vendor disputes.
Because both sides are looking at the exact same data.
Exactly. It's immutable, real-time data. You can't argue with the blockchain record. And UPS has a huge forwarding hub that uses smart contracts to totally automate their invoicing.
And document verification, yeah. Here's where it gets really interesting to me, just thinking of it as a consumer. It's basically a digital escrow account that doesn't need an escrow agent.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
It's like the money and the goods are locked in this digital handshake. And the contract only lets go when both sides actually fulfill their promise.
Right, which completely eliminates the risk of someone taking the goods and just refusing to pay.
Okay, but this raises a big question. What does this mean for, the little guy?
What do you mean?
Well, we have this checklist from the tech list. Do I need this checklist for business owners?
Yeah.
If I'm running a local bakery, I probably don't need a complex Ethereum contract to buy flour.
No, you absolutely do not. And Dr. Arnold is clear about that. Not every business needs this.
So who does note it? Let's go through the checklist. Step 1.
Yeah.
Are your transactions repetitive?
Right. Smart contracts thrive on high volume, highly repetitive agreements where the variables don't change much.
Okay. 2, do you have trust or security issues? Like, are you dealing with sensitive consumer data or high-value assets?
Yes. If you are constantly worried about vendor fraud, a smart contract secures that relationship mathematically.
3, do you require strict compliance, like anti-money laundering checks or KYC? Know your customer.
Automating those compliance checks saves a massive amount of administrative hours.
And finally, do you need to scale? Can your current manual contract system handle 10 times your current volume?
And that's the real kicker. If you're a mid-sized logistics firm and you hit all 4 of those checklist points,
I'm basically bleeding money by not using this, right?
you absolutely are. You are paying for a huge amount of administrative bloat that code could do for practically free.
But, and this is a big but, if my business relies on a lot of subjective judgment or emotional intelligence,
Then traditional methods are still better. Smart contracts have zero empathy. If a shipment is late because of a snowstorm, the code doesn't care. It penalizes you automatically.
ouch. Yeah, that's a rigid system. So, okay, let's say I am that mid-sized logistics company and I'm ready to automate. What is the roadmap for a pilot project?
The roadmap is actually pretty straightforward, but the execution has to be flawless. Step 1 is identify the need.
Meaning I have to clarify my terms, the exact triggers, and the outcomes I want.
Right. Step 2, you write the code. Usually this is done in a language called Solidity, which runs on Ethereum.
Okay. And step 3 is testing, which I assume is a big deal.
Testing is everything. You use test nets, which are basically safe simulation environments, and you use tools like Truffle, Mythex, or Slither for rigorous unit and integration testing.
Wait, I have to ask about this. In the visual materials, there's another image, the one titled Crime Prevention.
Ah, yes, the hacker image.
Yeah, it shows this masked figure in a dark hoodie hunched over a laptop on a city street. It is really ominous. Completely different vibe from the glowing trust image.
It's meant to be ominous because it represents the severe risk of the space.
Right. Because if the code is immutable, what happens if my developer just makes a typo? You're telling me a missing 0 in the code could permanently lock up my company's funds.
Yes, I am telling you exactly that.
And I can't just call customer service to fix it.
There is no customer service on the blockchain. You can't just download a patch. If there is a bug or a logic error, it is permanent.
Oh, wow. That is terrifying.
And hackers know this. They actively scan smart contracts looking for vulnerabilities to exploit. Things like reentrancy attacks or overflow errors.
Which is why they just drain the funds instantly.
Exactly. This is why businesses must rely on third-party security experts. You need formal mathematical verification. You have to get comprehensive professional audits before you ever deploy a smart contract to the live network.
Okay, so step 3, testing, is basically the most important step.
Without a doubt. Then step 4 is you deploy it, which involves interacting with the real network and paying gas fees, which is basically the network transaction cost.
And finally, step 5, you monitor it post-deployment.
Yes. Even though it runs automatically, you still need to ensure the real-world data feeding into it is accurate.
So, stepping back, the core message here is that smart contracts offer this incredible leap in efficiency and speed.
They do. The cost reduction from removing intermediaries is enormous.
But it really requires a fundamental shift in how we think about security, doesn't it?
That's the key takeaway. We are shifting trust away from people, away from lawyers and escrow agents, and we are placing that trust entirely in verified code.
And that transition to automated trust is already happening everywhere, whether you're an investor, a manager, or an entrepreneur. The sources mention companies from Amazon all the way to Burger King are doing this.
It's the new backbone of operational efficiency.
Absolutely. Well, as we wrap up today, there was one final, really provocative thought I want to leave you with. Something to mull over.
Oh, what's that?
Well, the source briefly mentions that AI technology can enhance these processes. And it got me thinking. Right now, human developers are writing these smart contracts, testing them and checking for typos.
Right.
But if a smart contract is just a piece of code that executes automatically and can literally never be changed,
Yeah.
what happens to our global supply chains when an autonomous AI starts negotiating and writing these immutable contracts entirely on its own,
Oh, wow.
without any human oversight?
Ah.
I mean, who do you sue when a robot writes a bad, completely unchangeable contract?
That is a legal nightmare waiting to happen.
Exactly. It's something we're going to have to figure out very soon.
We certainly are.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the tech around you,
Yeah.
and we'll catch you next time.